Hey, Ray DelVecchio here from websiteprofitcourse.com. I talk about web design freelancing in my videos, and I think that the word freelancer and business owner are often used interchangeably, but I kind of see them differently. I think there's three main things that you have to do to go from a freelancing mindset to a business owner mindset. Number one is how you sell. So usually freelancers sell their time. They either charge by the hour, they charge by the project, whereas business owners, they sell on value. So if you're doing work for a client and they get a ton of value out of it, you can charge more even though you might do the same work for a lower level client who doesn't get the same value. Number two, as a freelancer, you're the one fulfilling the service. You're doing all the work, whereas the business owner, they're gonna look for new clients and they're gonna outsource the work. Of course, business owners usually start by fulfilling the work, but if you wanna really grow your business, you have to see where you can eliminate yourself so you can spend more time looking outward and looking for new clients, how you can improve the business, the strategy. And number three, freelancers usually get paid either by the hour, they send an invoice, or they get paid after a project. That might be it. They probably need to find new clients to really get consistent business, whereas business owners are going to be looking for that predictability and stability. And to me, that translates to recurring income. So I don't think there's any downside to starting with the freelancer mindset. Almost everybody who gets into web design, graphic design, or any of those services, they start by doing that one-on-one project work. You can get a lot of experience that way. You get to understand what clients are looking for. And I think when you deal with probably about 5 clients, you're gonna realize that 3 of them are maybe pretty average. 1 of them is horrible. You get a bad experience and they're micromanagers, or they don't want to pay you, or the opposite where you need information from them and they go silent. And then you might have 1 person that you work for that is better than all of them. They completely value the work that you do. And I think that's really what it takes to shift your perspective. Like, I can tell you all this information, I can give you advice, or you can find advice from other great YouTube channels out there. But until you get down and dirty and do the work with several clients, get to understand people and their human nature, that's ultimately going to shift your mindset more than anything you read or you watch. Now, one of the things that I know with web design is people get into it because they like the creative aspect of it, but I find that you have to standardize. I like to take elements of every project that I do, and if I can just copy and paste and make a couple tweaks here and there with a complete design, a layout, a WordPress theme, some type of Photoshop file that I created before, I will always reuse something that I've done in the past versus doing it from scratch again. That's why I think charging by the hour is a terrible decision long term, because you are going to get more efficient and get more done in an hour. And of course you can up your hourly rate to counteract that, but somebody's probably not going to be happy if you charge them $20 an hour to start with and you want to charge them $300 an hour after the fact. That's why I think that if you either have a monthly service that you can charge for, make that recurring income, and then you can constantly improve your processes and potentially outsource, that's way more effective. Another important step of designing a website or fulfilling any freelance service is documenting your steps. I think you'd be surprised by how many people don't do this, at least in an effective manner. They might have it in their head, or they might go off of somebody else's list, but they may not write down the steps that they're actually doing to fulfill the service. This is something that I did with web design when I started building websites. I have a master list, which is included in my Business Pro membership. That is every single task that I do to create a client website. And I think right now it's like maybe 30 or 35 things that you need to get set up to have a business website up and running the right way. So make sure you keep a list of everything that you need to do to fulfill a project. Not only is that going to make you more efficient the next time you do it, but it makes it that much easier to outsource or hand over that set of steps to somebody else. And you can even record yourself doing it. That's one great thing about my YouTube channel. You'd be surprised at how often I go back to my own videos because I forget how I did something in the past, or that list of steps is not as clear as a video. So if you can record yourself going through a process, that's going to make outsourcing way easier. It's going to reduce the number of questions that the person you're outsourcing to has, and it's going to just give you a chance to go back and review your own past work to see exactly how you did something 6 months ago or a year ago that you may have forgotten about. Now, from working with clients, your clients are going to be business owners for the most part, and you can learn a lot from them. And if there's one thing that I learned from my most successful clients, It's that they focus on the sales and the marketing way more than they do the fulfillment of the service. Most of my low-end clients are the types of people that they want to hand off the sales and marketing, outsource that part of it, and just do the work. And it's just a bad idea because that's the most important part of building a successful business. It's getting the clients, the right clients, making sure that you have a good pitch, making sure that you know your marketing channels. Almost every successful business gets the majority of their work through referrals, but the ones that are a step above that actually have another method to get new business, and that might be Google organic search. It could be social media. It could just be going to networking groups locally. But the business owners that just want to avoid these responsibilities, they're the ones that struggle, especially at the beginning. They think that there is some type of easy button, and I constantly say it. I maybe say it on every single video or every other video. There's no easy button to success. Everybody's searching that out. Everybody wants it, but you got to put in the work. You got to put in the effort, and there's only so much you can learn, like I said, either reading or watching a video. You have to put it into practice for it to really crystallize in your mind. Now, if you really are against learning sales and marketing, you just want to fulfill the service, then freelancing or owning your own business might not be for you. A job might be the right path. Or maybe you just want to freelance and have a couple clients on the side, 2 or 3 people that you work for. Make a little bit of extra money, but you don't want to take it to that next step. There's nothing wrong with working for someone else and treating that like you're an employee. But there's 2 things that you're limited by, and that is you're not going to have the time freedom. So you're generally going to have to work on a set schedule. If you want to take off midweek, do something on a Tuesday afternoon, you might not be able to do that. Definitely won't be able to do that if you're working at a 9-to-5 job. You have a limited amount of vacation days that you can use. That's one thing that I've always been more focused on than money. The money, obviously, that is important. You got to pay your bills and whatnot. But I just didn't want to go into work 9 to 5 every day, 5 days a week, working on something that I was marginally interested in. That is something that's soul crushing to me, and I have so many interests outside of what somebody else is telling me what to do. I had no doubt that I could find something to profit on that I actually enjoy doing. And I'm introverted, so the sales and the marketing side did not come easily for me. It still doesn't come easy for me. It is work, but it gets more comfortable the more you do it. Just like anything else, repetition is your friend. So even if you feel like, I don't want to start my own business today, I think at some point in your life you should give it a shot. Even if you fail at it, at least you tried to get that freedom. And the reality is you are kind of capped at how much money you're going to make at another business. The amount of money you make working for yourself is completely up to you. Now, again, that's not to say it's easy. I'm still working my way towards my financial goals, but at least I know that I have full control over it. And frankly, if I'm not reaching them, it's my fault. I'm to blame because of that, because I'm my own boss. But, nowadays, like I said, I get to, golf with my dad. If he texts me on Tuesday and says, you want to golf tomorrow morning? I can almost always shift around my schedule to do that. And I love that flexibility. Working for yourself takes a lot longer than what a lot of these gurus advertise. You'll see so many people that push their courses or their programs and say you can make hundreds of thousands of dollars in a year. And, that's just not the way reality works for most people, especially if you're selling one-on-one, especially if you're introverted, especially if you don't think you're going to like sales and marketing. There's a lot of hurdles that you have to overcome. Another simple one is just accounting. I took many years to really get used to my accounting software and to figure out how to categorize things and then do my own taxes. There's a lot of things that are frustrating for beginners in business. Those are the types of things that I think hold people up where they just don't even want to start freelancing to begin with. They feel confident that they could deliver a service, but it's all these other tasks that they got to take care of that they realize that's going to be a little bit more daunting, and it is. But again, once you overcome those challenges, you have such a more diverse skill set than you would if you were just working a job. And I think that sets you up in the future. I'm a young man. I'm in my 30s, but I still feel like my best work is ahead of me. And all of this investment that I've put into doing my own work, working from home, learning sales and marketing, in addition to the web skills, I really think that's going to pay off, in my 40s, my 50s. And I hope to continue to learn and adapt as the technology changes. One thing I learned from a podcaster, Jocko Willink, he said something that resonated with me, and that is your number one strength is going to be your number one weakness. I didn't really think about that concept until he said it, and when I looked at myself, it's 100% true. I like to work on things that I want, which means that I like full control over what I'm working on, and I tend to be a perfectionist. Because of that strength, I feel like I've gotten really good at delivering for my clients. I've really never had a client request that I wasn't able to figure out on my own because of just my natural curiosity and my perfectionism. You know, I want to make sure that they're happy with the end product. But the downside of that is I did spend a lot of years not really focusing on looking outward for new clients, the sales and the marketing. And on top of that, I'm still not great with outsourcing. I could do a lot better when it comes to the fulfillment of my services that I offer. So that's all I got for this video. I hope that you learned a couple things here, but like I said before, make sure you put this into practice. Go find clients and work for other people. If you want to know the tools that you can use to start a web design business, go to my homepage, websiteprofitcourse.com. You can download that free giveaway. Those are the most important ones that I use to set up websites for small businesses. That link will be in the description below. Another important thing that you got to do if you're working for yourself is managing your time. I created an entire video on how to use Google Calendar. That has been probably one of the best things that I've ever done personally. I'd love for you to go check it out. I'll link that up here in the top right. In that video, I mention a time tracking tool that I use. I built it myself. It's just a spreadsheet that links in with my Google Calendar. You can get a free copy of the spreadsheet so you can log your time weekly and chart it so you know exactly how much time you're spending on your freelancing projects. So I have an upgraded version of that which automatically links to your Google Calendar so you don't have to manually input your time. It'll just take the events that you put on your calendar, calculate the time, and put that directly into the spreadsheet automatically. So check that out. I'll include a link to that as well in the description below. Last but not least, give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Make sure you subscribe to my channel for more web design freelancing videos. And if you've worked for yourself, worked for a client in the past, what's been the toughest thing for you? I'd love for you to leave a comment below. I appreciate you taking the time to watch this entire video. Hope you have a great day.